Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bumps we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields and interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube and fade to black, yeah, the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual, Clarence 13X, a worthy guess. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North Amex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson. The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers, fabric softener. Jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch stores type. For that soft right, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like Porsche lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, they're scorched tight. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descended of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Bless.
TV.
Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bumps we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields and interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube and fade to black, yeah, the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual, Clarence 13X, a worthy guess. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North Amex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson. The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers, fabric softener. Jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch stores type. For that soft right, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like Porsche lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, they're scorched tight. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it.
It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descendant of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Blast.
Crumb TV.
Peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Melanin Mondays. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, this is your host for the evening, Brother Red Pillar. And that song that you heard on the intro, that is Theta Waves featuring the Twin Pillar, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. Salute to everybody pulling up in the building. Shout out to everybody pulling up in the building. Shout out to everybody in the mother effing building today, man. I hope everybody is in good health, both mentally, spiritually, financially. You know, I'm talking about emotionally. Yeah, man, we're gonna have a good conversation today. I have a special guest. We have some solutions that we're going to be bringing to the table. Today is going to be a little heavy. You know what I mean? This is just a disclaimer. There's a lot going on. It's a retrograde, but I'm not going to blame it on the retrograde. This retrograde is very heavy. I felt this the day that it came in. I ain't gonna lie. It's very heavy. Heavy on the soul, heavy on the heart. But what we want to do is we want to speak to the problems, but we also want to bring the solutions and whatnot. So we're going to get to it. You dig? Sometimes there's uncomfortable conversations that need to be had, and today is just one of those days. Let's go ahead and let's do the roll call. Let's see who is in the building. All right. Shout out to everybody tapping in from wherever y'all are at. You know what I'm saying? It ain't where you're from, it's where you at. You dig? So yeah, man. Let's see. Let's tap in. All right. Peace to the chat. Peace to the chat. You dig? We got Southeast DC, Chocolate City, Hartford, Connecticut. What up, Hartford? Philadelphia in the building. Y'all take care of my boy Jalen Brown. You dig? Take care of young Jalen. He gonna. I know he gonna turn up out there. Dallas in the building. Shout out to Dallas. Shout out to San Jose in the building. Shout out to Nashville and Seattle and all of that. Duval. Yes, yes. Y'all getting ready for that Duval weekend coming up, right? The Gas House. We got Detroit, Orlando. We got Detroit again. All right. North Las Vegas, East Flatbush, Colorado, DC proper, Chicago, BK all day, Greenville, South side of Houston, Ireland. All right now, Gulfport, Mississippi, Hawaii up in this thing, Tuscaloosa up in this thing, DMV, Cashville, Miami, Florida, San Diego, all right, Alexandria. Shout out to everybody. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to everybody. Yo, look out. IT in the building. We got IT in the building. Henderson, Nevada. Shout out to Henderson. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. We got Huntington Beach, California. Huntington Beach, California. VA. They say VA is for lovers. Shout out to Virginia. You dig? Boston Sixers. Yo, shout out to Boston. I was kind of mad at Boston because, Boston is Boston. But shout out to Boston. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got some good people out there. You know, it's just Boston be doing Boston shit. You know what I'm saying? Boston Richie. You know what I mean? It's nothing new, right? But Boston has good memories in my mind. Every time we went out there, It was a movie. Minnesota in the building, Phoenix in the building, tough London in the building, Memphis up in this thing. Shout out to the Memphis family. Smell me? Yeah, so let's get right to it. Yeah. So yesterday, and maybe the day before, right? Around the 5th of July, I started to hear stories coming out about something that was happening in Mississippi, of all places. And just based off of the trajectory of how things have been going, and just based off, you know, the fact that we've been able to see the patterns, right? And we were like, yo, this is gonna be Red Summer. This is gonna be a repeat of what we saw in 2020. I could just see the patterns. I mean, Stevie Wonder could see it. Fact that we're in a fire horse year, you know what I'm saying? The fact that we're in what is known as this retrograde, I was like, yeah, I already know what it is, right? And then as time progressed, it eventually came out that this young man, you know what I'm saying, lost his life. You dig? So we're going to unpack that. There's some videos that I'll be playing and whatnot with different perspectives. As with every other week in the past 4 to 5 to 6 weeks, there's a new sacrifice, pulling on the heartstrings, pulling on the quote unquote emotional heartstrings of not just one person, but all of us. If you were to ignore and just, turn the cheek and whatnot and act like nothing is going on and, go back to counting your money or playing with your white friends and whatnot. I mean, it is what it is. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is not connected. Everybody is not a part of this, this source. Everybody's not connected at the heart. But there's some of us that are out there, especially right now. The topic of the discussion is Black men. Not to take anything away from Black women, not to take anything away from Black girls, I'm not doing the gender thing. What I'm doing though is I'm highlighting, because I'm a man, I'm able to speak from a perspective, and I speak to more men than I do women, right? I'm not one of those men who don't have male friends, right? So I'm kicking it with more men, and I'm chopping it up, and I'm privy to getting those personal I get phone calls, and I have conversations off the record, and people reveal things to me, and I'm here to let you know there's a crisis taking place, and we as men don't have what women have. You feel me? We don't have a sisterhood like that. We don't have government's assistant. We don't got the white man, laying out pillows for us. We don't have those solutions. You know what I mean? We're kind of like in limbo right now. You feel me? We don't even have our women like that. You smell me? So the time has come to where we need to have a conversation, and everybody is invited. Everybody is welcome. This is not a finger pointing type thing. We don't do toxicity. Well, we do mild toxicity over here. We're not doing, this is not a cesspool. You don't talk about, this is not a cesspool. This is not a part of, even though I'm red pill or red pillar, this is not a part of I'm not a break off of the red pill movement. That's not my ideology. That's not my ideologue. I just don't stand in that space. I'm not a placeholder for that quote unquote. I would say I'm not a placeholder for that mind state. But I can say without a reasonable doubt that we do feel somewhat unappreciated. We do feel somewhat abandoned. We do feel somewhat double crossed. I was playing a video. I played a snippet for Fear of a Black Amor 44. How many of y'all was able to catch that? If you didn't catch it, we premiered it at 4:44 today on both channels and whatnot. It's about 2 hours of me going in, and it's an 8-hour lecture. I played Blue Pill's part, which is about 2 hours the other day. And then I played my part today, which is like I played about 2 hours of it. We got 4 hours left of them, and in that video, right, in that lecture, I was showing irrefutable proof, right? I was showing irrefutable proof of the CIA's involvement with our plight, right? The CIA's involvement with weaponizing what is called feminism, right? Um, and we're talking about Gloria Steinem feminism. I don't know nothing about anything other than that. Women's suffrage and shit. I don't know about that. I'm talking about the Gloria Steinem CIA approved feminazi, the shit that Dr. Valentine identified as feminazi movement. And I feel that black men, when we feel a little that there's been issues about loyalty, and there's been issues about if women around, if we've been, if there's assets, CIA assets in our midst. I could say without a reasonable doubt that for the women who are in question, the men, there's black men who are CIA assets who they put in your midst. So if you want to, we could trade one for one. I'm not protecting nobody. The black drug dealer is a CIA operative. The black pimp, the nigga that y'all hail up, CIA operative. The black gangster, the gangbanger, CIA operative. You want to give me some names? Cause I could give you names for the men. I'll give them up. I'm not. We won't protect them. I'll let you know what the fuck going on. Those were CIA operatives. You know what I'm saying? Hold on 1 minute. I don't want to be facetious and whatnot. And I don't want to make this thing a tit for tat thing. I don't want to make it a gender based thing. I just want to bring the responsibilities back. You know what I mean? Black men, we are responsible for cleaning up this mess. Black men, we are responsible for identifying the enemies in our community. Black men, we are responsible for protecting these babies. Black men, we are responsible for not just calling shit out. We're going to have to step, because there's a war going on outside. No man is safe. These women are hurting right now. I could imagine what the hearts of mothers feel like when after the, you know what I mean? I could just imagine what the hearts of these mothers raising these boys, the mothers that's raising these girls are feeling like. I can't even, I'm not privy to living inside of the mind of a mother right now, a black mother in particular, a black mother, right? A mother, but a black mother in particular. I don't have the right to speak on how they feel. But if I know, I'm just using my logical sense that I know that they feeling it right now, because there's a feeling in the air. On my timeline, I don't know about everybody's timeline. My timeline is full of grief right now. You feel me? There's a lot of shit going on. It's a red summer. You know what I'm saying? It is a red summer. Not only is there danger being posed upon our babies, our boys and whatnot, we had a whole series for What the F Wednesdays the conspiracy to destroy black children, not black boys, black children. So it's like we would, we can't look toward black men can't look towards our women and be like, we need a strong woman and that's gonna fix it. That's not what it is. That when we stand up and when we get out, when we stand up and when we show camaraderie and when we show more courage and whatnot, the women who are of high quality, when they want to talk about a high quality woman, the women of a high quality, the women who respect leadership and respect that, they're going to automatically link up. They're going to automatically, it's going to all fall in line. But with the dysfunction taking place and the fact that we're not healing at the rate that we should be healing and whatnot, it is somewhat of a quote unquote quagmire right now. I don't have time to finger point. I don't have time to deflect. I don't have time to project. I don't have time to, you did it, they did it. I'm not doing none of that. Let these niggas that's still hurting and these unhealed niggas talk about all of that. I'm not doing that. I'm trying to heal, But what I need to do and what I need to know is that black men are getting together and healing. Some of us need to cry. Some of us need to scream. Some of us need to kick some shit. Some of us need to punch some things. We let off different. You know what I'm saying? We let off our rage a little bit different. I am rage. Niggas is raging inside. I'm letting you know this. So nobody is kind of like lost in limbo. Dudes is going, there's fires burning inside of us with no sight of water. You know what I'm saying? We don't know where to drink the water. You got people jumping ship, getting on planes and whatnot, going to get nurtured by foreign women, thinking that is going to heal them. And I don't know. I'm not sure what is going to be the solution to the healing and whatnot. But I know that it's going to start with us talking to each other. What is causing the rage? There's a plethora of things. It's not just one, it's layers to this. It's layers to this. Society has been programming all of us to be narcissistic. Society is rewarding narcissism. Society is rewarding non-empathy. Society is rewarding an agenda. The lack of community is exposing a lot. You feel me? I feel that the lack of atonement, right? Remember the Million Man March and Louis Farrakhan said the Day of Atonement? And I don't know how many people atoned. I think they let those people go home after that march, and they didn't really put the pressure on the atonement part. That part was left out. I don't think that they leaned too much on the atoning, right? Where's the atonement? Because in the 80s and in the 90s, black men was fucking shit up. I saw black women turn dark afterwards. It didn't go the other way around. It wasn't like they was out of control. It wasn't like they was super ratchet. Black men more than likely put crack rock in the hands or in the pipe. They didn't make black women smoke it, but they were the purveyors of the poison. They were selling it. You know what I mean? Black women had a hand in it, but they were working. They were not the bosses. They were the workers. They fell in line with niggas getting money. And that happens because women are very materialistic, and they're gonna go where the money goes. So our men sold their souls for $1. It happened in the 70s with the needle in King Heron, but it was exasperated in the 80s with the crack cocaine scourge, right? With the crack cocaine surge, which was a double war on top of the opium war. The opium war kicked our ass, you know? Look at this unhealed nigga. Red don't want to have the sisterhood on his helmet, so he's not going to speak of their lack of respect for the average black man. Like I said, once again, that's not what this show is about. We already know what the conditions are, family, respectfully. We already know what the conditions are. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? You want me to go heavy handed? You want me to go Kevin Samuels? You want me to drag them? You want me to step on them? You feel me? You want me to bend their backs? You want me to break their backs? That's what you want? You want me to body slam these women? You want me to pull their weaves out? Do you want me to roast them for an hour? Is that what you want? Is that what's going to help us? You want me to fight your fight? I'm not going to do it. That's not what we're here for. I feel that everybody's hands is dirty. Mine's included. You know? I feel that everybody's hands is dirty. But what I do know is black men's mental health is in crisis. And me turning into a red pillar, fresh and fit, it ain't gonna do nothing but create more turmoil. That's not the answer. That is not the answer. That's not the route that I'm willing to take. And I could give a fuck about somebody being on my head top. I'm just gonna speak from the heart. I'm gonna speak the truth. Our people is dying, bro. These little boys is getting murked. You think I got time to talk about the lack of respect that they have for men who don't fucking respect themselves at the end of the day? Men that's going through their third childhood, men that's not building shit, men that keep going to fucking jail, men that won't pull their pants up, men that don't know how to necessarily address a woman, men that lead with their dick. I'm not doing it, bro. We need to take accountability. We need to atone. I'm old enough, I'm wise enough to see where it broke at. I don't know I don't know how many years you've been in the game, but I saw the breakage. And like I said, we covered some of the programs in the 60s because that's kind of when they started turning up on us. And they turned the faucet on in the 70s. And they commenced to, break the families up. Yeah, they came with the welfare. That was all Lyndon B. Johnson and whatnot. They came with the programs. They came with NYCHA. They, the movie Claudine shows all of that. So we're gonna condemn them now. So we gonna lock them up? We're gonna throw them away now. You feel me? We're gonna go to a Becky. Is that what we finna do? Because in my reality, I've come across some powerful, beautiful, upright women. And I've also come across some women who are the opposite of that. But guess what? When I was in the company of those women who are not upright, I could look at myself in the mirror and my frequency wasn't on the upright. You understand? There was more of a magnetism. I was able to attract bullshit because I was on bullshit. You feel me? And then when I was operating at my highest frequency, I saw the vampires in them and I was able to dip before they bit me or I got bit. You know what I mean? I was able to make choices to be like, nah, I'm not laying down with that Jezebel. I'm not laying down with that succubus. I'm not laying down with that demon and whatnot. That's how I was able to move around. only because I was operating on a certain frequency where I was able to see through the fog. Some people don't have that. They take whatever gets thrown at them. You know what I'm talking about? But when it comes to what's happening with these young black children, there's nobody that should lead that conversation other than the men at this point. We would be cowards if we let our women lead the conversation. They can't lead the charge. They should not, the mothers should not be leading the charge. These babies, their babies are dying. Yes, some of these mothers are single and they don't have the man in the house, but they need to hear the resounding voices of men all around them saying that we will protect. We will provide a layer of security. We will put the guns down against one another and we will grip up and we'll start taking this shit more serious. We'll have our heads on swivel. We're not going to take this thing like it's a game. I feel that we owe them that. So let's get into what the hell going on right now, and we'll get right back to it. Like I said, I do have some solutions.
A few weeks ago, and I said that I would not allow my child to attend an all-white school because people who like to say that their children who attend all-white school is getting some type of diversity, and that is indeed not a diversity. And y'all have been in my comments, and it's constantly going. But there is a case that's not new, because it has happened so many times. It's just now people are becoming more aware of situations like this. But the young man named Nolan Xavier that went on a boating event in Mississippi with his all-white guy friend group, and now he is missing. This is so familiar. In 2021, there was a Jamaican immigrant who was shot 9 times in Pennsylvania while he was on a camping trip with his work buddies. And guess what? He was the only black person there. In 2018, Tamla Horsford went to a sleepover, and yet she was the only black woman that ended up dead. In 2004, Alonzo Brooks went to a party, and all of a sudden, everybody had conflicting stories about his death. The list goes on and on and on. As always, there was a young boy who was adopted by an all-white family, and he had all nice things to say until he got of a certain age, and they started playing games with him. And he started to record because he said that his body just automatically went into terror mode before things started to happen. They started to play games with him. I talked about my experience when I was at Paul Mitchell, when one of my, homegirls at the time decided that she was going to bring me with her along to go pick up a book from her home, but gave me the warning, hey, but you can't get out because my dad don't like black people. Instances like this is not new, especially in the South. When black bodies go missing all the fucking time, hanging from trees, but y'all like to coddle so close to this whiteness that I don't understand when shit like this has happened for years. People have been saying this for years. I pray that they find Nolan Xavier. They claimed he went missing. They don't know what happened. This shit is so familiar. It happens all the time.
Melanated people.
Because I understand we live in a world where shit happens every day, but how do you go missing with 3 friends? Mississippi. Didn't a black baby just get killed out there by a white cop? But this story is creepy because the 3 friends don't know where he at. Well, they just found his body today. He was missing since July 4th, but the story headlines will be this: 3 white men, 1 black man. 3 white men made it back. 1 black man didn't make it. I'm not a cop, I'm not a detective, but stories seem kind of crazy. They were supposed to be going on a trip to Horn Island in Mississippi. I heard so many jokes that said black people can't swim. Did he drown, or did his friends do something to him? I kept reading the report and they said the man went without a cell phone. Who do you know go anywhere without their cell phone? People drive, they text on their phone, they talk on their phone. When they working, they be on their phone. Shit, some people can't sleep because they be up all night on their phone. So who the hell goes to a private island without their phone? I don't know, but it's another sad story. I hope they ain't do nothing to them. But this story is going to be pretty hectic because Mississippi already have bad energy towards black people. But I just want to say rest in peace to Noah Well. And I hope these young boys didn't do nothing to them.
Xavier Wells situation reminds me of with this picture. This specific picture. You know what this reminds me of? If you guys don't remember a few years ago when this happened? And for those who don't know, deep dive like a motherfucker. You should deep dive like a bitch. This is the Real Housewives of one of these hoes, or all of them did it. This black woman was found deceased in the backyard of this house after a wife sleepover girls' night. Yeah. It's almost as if the shit keeps happening. You get what I'm saying? Now, reverse the roles. Let it be 3 black dudes and 1 white kid. Do you know what they would say on the internet, the news, the media? You know what the president of the United States would say? In both these situations. I'm gonna be that guy in the room. Make sure you go with at least 3 of yours. You get what I'm saying? At least 3. And make sure they're brawlers. You get what I'm saying? This shit, it's not funny. It's just like,
Without the full head count of my friends. First thing I'm going to say is I would never leave without the full head count of my friends. That is rule number 1. We don't get off no damn island. We don't get onto no boat. We don't do nothing until we have every last person that we came with all in one place. You mean to tell me that no one took account for Nolan Xavier Wells before y'all got back on that boat to go back to the main island? Something's not adding up. 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells was last seen on July 4th with his friends on Horn Island outside of Jackson, Mississippi. He was last seen in blue shorts, sunglasses, and that's it. Nolan's parents are looking for him nonstop. They just want to find their son. Now, the U.S. Coast Guard and the Cajun Navy are looking for Nolan. The Cajun Navy commander said that he was last seen with a teen before he disappeared. They found his phone, but they did not find him. And if this is his friend group, I'm not going to lie. I don't have that much faith in finding this boy alive. Because like I said before, there's no way in hell I would hop on a boat to go home and not all of my friends are accounted for. Y'all didn't give a fuck about him whatsoever. And there's somebody out there that was part of that friend group that knows what the fuck happened. But everybody's locking the fuck up. Now, I'm trying to keep the faith that this boy's just sitting there lost on this island and, he fell asleep or some shit. But 9 times out of 10, we already know how this shit goes.
So one thing that I find interesting, right, is that in each one of these cases, these young men have fathers. The father is not absent. When it comes to Cyrus, right, his father is there. His father's in his life. Okay? Each one of these young men, right? You have Cohen. His father was there, right? The young boy in Mississippi, the 1-year-old. We played the video where he has his father in his life. When you come to Nolan, Nolan's father was in his life. Black men. So this is not a case of the black man not being there. This is a case that we as fathers who have black boys and black daughters, right? We have to have a off the record, off the grid circle. And we need to talk about these things because the justice that we seek is not probably going to be the same justice that the mother seeks. Right? The type of justice that we seek is not going to be the same type of justice that the all-forgiving mother seeks. I'm going to show you that this is not an isolated incident. Every single case of a black child being found hanging needs to be revisited. Where the fuck is Perry Mason at? Every single case that they was like, oh, keep it moving, nothing to see here. We need to go back and see what the hell we need to see. Y'all got AI. Now you bring the AI lawyer or something. We need new autopsies and we need to re-examine what the hell been happening because it feels like this been going on for so long. Shout out to 363 Empire. Mom says Plano 8th grader was victim of racist bullying, forced to drink urine. Okay.
This is KERA News. I'm Bill Ziebel. The mother of a 13-year-old black student in Plano ISD's Haggard Middle School says he was assaulted, abused, and called racial slurs by classmates. Summer Smith says her 8th grader was at a sleepover party when he was forced to drink a cup of urine. A video circulated on social media. She found out the boys were football players who'd been bullying and harassing her son for more than a year. She contacted the school and was told the party occurred outside of school hours, so they couldn't do much. She disagrees.
The videos have been shared with pretty much the entire school. Why is that not a school issue? We're passing around the videos during school hours. How is that not a school issue? The boys are on the football team. How is that not a school issue?
Smith's attorney, Kim T. Cole, wants the incident investigated as a hate crime. The student was called a racial epithet, the N-word, numerous times. She says she's heard from many parents with similar stories.
They were subjected to all kinds of torture and abuse from other teammates at the school. Plano ISD is aware of this, and yet they have done nothing. To cast it into the wind?
Not today.
Not today.
Not today, sister.
Absolutely not today.
Not today.
And we will not stand for it. That's why we're here.
Plano ISD says the district does not tolerate or condone harassing behavior. Both the district and Plano police are investigating the incident. I'm Bill Ziebel in Plano.
You some breaking news because this is important and I really need to get this information out there. It is time sensitive, so it's imperative that you guys share in case we can find any and all information about this teenager, okay? A Jackson County, Mississippi 18-year-old teenager by the name of Nolan Xavier Wells has been missing since the 4th of July weekend after a trip to Horn Island in Mississippi with his friends. Now, authorities are speculating that at some point after Nolan went to go meet with a girl during the time he was on Horn Island was the time frame where he went missing. At some point he got separated from his cell phone and was hanging out with this female on Horn Island, and his friends presumed that he received a ride back from someone else from the island, but that never happened, and things started to take a turn for the worse once his mother realized that shortly after 3 p.m. he had not been returning phone calls, text messages, and hadn't been seen or heard from since he had gone on this boat. Now, Nolan was last seen with these blue shorts on, swimming trunks, and some sunglasses. Now, here's where things get a little bit wicked because his cell phone was left behind, but authorities were able to return his cell phone to his parents without Nolan. And that is the confusion, seeing as though some information was not given to them accurately while they were vacationing off Mississippi's Gulf Coast. It's also important to note that there are currently active searching right now for him, but initially his family, his mother was given the wrong description of what he was wearing from authorities. Then later it was provided the updated information based upon a picture. So they had lied. The family had lied. Nolan's friend's family had lied about what he was last seen wearing when he was last seen with them. Okay, as you can see, Christine Wansley posted on Facebook to please be on the lookout for Nolan. Last seen on the west tip north side of Horn Island today around 3 p.m. wearing blue shorts and sunglasses. It's unclear if he made it back on land. Please message me if you have seen him or heard any information about his whereabouts at or after 4 p.m. Then she updated us within the next 5 hours about his whereabouts. Now, on the bottom of this photo, he's also seen wearing said blue shorts. This is the last photograph that was taken of him just shortly before his disappearance. As you can see, Christine stated, we were provided with incorrect information regarding what he was wearing. I was sent a picture. As you can see, he was in the blue swim trunks, not black. So they initially stated that he was wearing black swim trunks to the island, but it was found later on due to the photo. I've seen the actual photo where it's not cut off. He's wearing the blue swim trunks in this photo, and this was the last photo that he was seen in shortly before his disappearance. And as of this morning, no more information or updates have been provided. Nolan is still missing, and his family is genuinely concerned about his whereabouts and want him home safe and unharmed. Now, as of right now, when you hear this story, our immediate response or thought process is to go to the worst possible place, but my heart and prayers is going out to this family, which is why we immediately here at Divine News Network had to jump on this story and see if we can utilize our platform to ensure that this information gets far and wide. Guys, we need this boy's return home to his parents. 18 years old. Imagine your child has only seen 18 years of life, has just started adulthood, and is at the precipice of becoming an adult, a grown adult, getting out there to see what the world is really like, and doesn't make it back home from vacation. I can only imagine what the family is thinking and going through right now, which is why I need your help pushing this story far and wide. So share, like, comment. Do what you have to do to get this story out so we can ensure that we at the very least get some updates and information regarding Nolan Xavier Wells so he can be returned home to his family expeditiously. Thank you guys so much. Stay tuned because there's a lot more information to go.
I was playing that to share that there was a lot of black women from yesterday. I saw them form Voltron. I saw men too. A lot of people jumped on this case from the 4th of July to the 5th of July up into today when they found the body. It had a network effect, right? What does that mean? That means that people became invested in his story. It started to spread like wildfire, right? Once again, our people are getting hit in the heartstrings, okay? They're getting hit in their heartstrings. There is no coincidence that this man is reminding me of Carmelo Anthony, okay? And it is no coincidence that he was sacrificed on 4th of July, which happened to be the 250th anniversary of the USA. And it is of no coincidence that on the 4th of July, they had white inferiority people marching inside of Washington, D.C. wearing masks. And it is no coincidence that the president of the United States stood shoulder to shoulder with race baiters and quote unquote race traitors and quote unquote, what we would call white inferiority complex sufferers. Y'all call them white supremacists. He stood shoulder to shoulder with them, right? He brought them, he pedestaled them, and he brought them, and then they marched the next day and whatnot. So this was a ritual, ladies and gentlemen. This was get back for what happened to Austin Metcalf. They took down this young man. He is a doppelganger of a Carmelo Anthony, around the same age, okay? The same kind of circumstance where these children have been raised up and whatnot in this new society where our parents from my days, the ones who my father's a baby boomer. So our parents told us beyond no reason, but hell no. There's no sleepovers at Timmy in them house. They didn't tell us we can have white friends. They didn't draw the line like that. But me personally, I wasn't allowed to bring no white girl in the house. You feel me? I could not do that. That was not allowed. If the comb did not get stuck in her hair, they wasn't, it was what it was, right? And damn sure they was not co-signing and green lighting no sleepovers. You smell me? We lived in a neighborhood where they actually were around, but we were not frolicking and we were not doing that type of thing. Just what it was. The children of today, though, for some reason in this post-Obama world that we are in, the parents have relaxed and the parents are from my generation now. It's not the boomers. The parents come up in my generation, in that rap generation, that hip hop generation, in that post-MLK, we are the world type of shit. And that, you know what I mean? And then you have people coming in. They coming in from the islands. They coming in from Africa. Oh, a white friend? That's like a status symbol. You know what I mean? So they start putting their children in these all white schools. And we all know we all know we've done the research, we have the results and whatnot, we got the stats. That doesn't necessarily work out. There's a large case of PTSD and a lot of the children who were placed in environments and whatnot where they were the only quote unquote chocolate child amongst a sea of mayonnaise. It doesn't necessarily rear them. Look at what's her name? Your girl, Candace Owens. Remember, she was, oh my goodness, they're calling me nappy headed, and you know what I mean? She was, you know, they was treating her like she was, they was treating her crazy. Burn, Mississippi, burn. Okay? Burn, Mississippi, burn. There's some shit coming out of Mississippi that I don't like. The situation with this young, I mean, and it's been going on. Let's not even act like we want to cherry pick. This shit is a tradition and whatnot. It's been going on. And they're teaching their children, okay, to carry on that tradition. People are like, oh, when the old people die off. No, nigga. No, Frances Cress Welsing is her words still stand. It's genetic, right? It's genetic, my genius. These are the 4 channers. These are the 8 channers. These are all of these kids and whatnot. But it's not just, you know, we you know, it's a lot of shit going on. It's a lot. And there's stories that they're not even talking about, right? There's stories that they're not even talking about. That's why I said we have to, if we're going to deal with one, we might as well deal with it all. We might as well deal with it all because, God damn it, you're going to have more tornadoes. You're going to have more sandstorms. You're going to have more earthquakes. You're going to have more, quote unquote, anomalies and whatnot if these spirits and these souls don't get the justice that they deserve. They are out here fucking around with the chosen people. I promise you. I promise you. They can't do. Look, Cyrus, right? Cyrus is the young man right there with the locks. Cyrus is an old Persian name. Okay. Remember King Cyrus? Cyrus etymology stands for son. Not S-U, not S-O-N, S-U-N. The same shit that's burning these people up. That's what Cyrus is, the etymology for son, right? Boom. And it's also humiliator of enemies and visionary. The young boy right there, okay, Cohen, right? Cohen, the etymology on Cohen is priest. His name stands for priest, one who officiates, religious minister. That is the etymology of quote unquote his name, Cohen. And then we have Nolan, the most latest one. In Nolan's etymology, it is the famous one, or champion, or spirited warrior. Okay, so remember the CIA? They had a report that said that the CIA was testing people's DNA, and they knew who's an alien, and they knew who had the quote unquote the God gene and everything, and that they were stalking them and shit like that. You know what I mean? You gotta be very mindful, and these parents are naming these children powerful names. You know what I mean? And putting them amongst inferior people. The minute they say their name, they know who to. If they don't know, their parents be knowing. Man, know thyself.
People of ancient Northeast Africa and the Levant, the real Jews and Israelites in the Bible, were heavily melanated people. The original chosen people were black and brown. Now look, I'm not saying this because one group is better than anyone. Bro, no one is better than anyone or above anyone during this human experience. No one. No group, no race, no ethnicity, no region, no country is superior or inferior. But I do want to break down the brutal biblical and historical truth of who these people actually were. If we look at actual geography and genuine historical context instead of the sanitized, whitewashed imagery that the modern world forced down our throats, the entire ancient Levant and Northeast Africa were heavily populated by melanated people. The original Israelites did not exist in some European vacuum. They emerged from an Afro-Asiatic geographical reality. When the scriptures speak of the land of Canaan, of Egypt, and of Kush, which is modern-day Ethiopia and Sudan, they are talking about lands where people had deep rich brown and melanated skin. The Bible itself does not hide this. In the book of Amos, God straight up asks, "Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel?" The text itself constantly draws these direct physical, geographical, and spiritual parallels because they look alike and share the same root. Look at Numbers chapter 12. Moses explicitly married a Cushite woman, a black woman from Ethiopia. Look at the lineage of the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon. Their union birthed the Solomonic dynasty in Ethiopia, which protected and safeguarded the Ark of the Covenant in Aksum for centuries. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church holds some of the oldest, most uninterrupted biblical canons on the face of the earth, preserving sacred texts like the Book of Enoch that the Western world tried to delete, censor, and bury from the public. But the history goes even wider. It wasn't just Ethiopia. The entire ancient biblical landscape was filled with diverse, highly melanated ethnicities across the region, from the Nile Valley to the ancient Levant. The modern world has committed a massive historical and psychological injustice by stripping these ancient people of their true identity, erasing their melanin, and rewriting them to look like the people who conquered them. The real trauma here is how the global system has systematically hidden this truth to keep people of African and melanated descent feeling disconnected from their divine heritage. For centuries, colonial powers used a distorted, rewritten version of the scriptures to justify slavery, psychological subjugation, and systemic inequality. They forced a white savior complex onto generations of people, causing deep, generational spiritual hurt. I think the hypocrisy is absolutely disgusting. The world will gladly marvel at the ancient history, the massive architectural wonders, and the spiritual depth of these lands, but they completely deny the true identity of the descendants who built them. They want the culture, they want the holy sites, but they want to erase the skin color of the people who actually lived it.
No, they want to erase the holy sites as well, because as soon as they get you looking the other way, once they rock you to sleep and make your ass feel like you was just a slave, they destroy your holy sites. They desecrate your holy sites, right? They desecrate them because they have to cover them up. So like Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said, and many others, we all can't get along. You want to talk about the 250th anniversary? It's 250 years of lies. It's 250 years of a program. It's 250 years of a spell, my genius, because on July the 4th, I didn't see nobody standing up and telling the truth. I didn't see nobody standing up with a fucking flag wrapped around them, giving the truth up. That's the only thing that you can do to break the bond. That's the only thing that you could do to break the chains. You got to tell the truth. You cannot, you can't hide from the truth. You can't fall back and make this shit go away. You either gonna stand on the truth or you're gonna die on your fucking knees. Cause that's where we at with it right now. That's what the ancestors are saying. You gotta be willing to stand on something because they stood on something and they looking at you like, fuck you standing on.
Loss as a 20-year-old Tyron Johnson, a 20-year-old boy was killed, man was killed, because we know exactly how the government is going to look at him as if he's a man. 20 years old does mean that he's an adult, but a life that hasn't really seen very much of life just yet was taken by two National Guardsmen in Memphis, Tennessee, just before 4 a.m. this morning. Let's get a little deeper into this. Now, a major investigation is underway as they continue to look into what could have led to gunshots or guns being pulled out. As they continue to develop more information, everything has not been released to the public, but what we do know is that Tyron was apparently walking up the street and they stated that he came at them aggressively, leading to the two National Guardsmen pointing their weapons directly at Tyron and shooting him. Now, apparently police were called at some point because they had just arrived on the scene or near the scene when they heard the two shots ring out that went directly into Mr. Tyron Johnson, ultimately leading to him being pronounced dead on the scene. Some of the actual firsthand encounter stated that all they knew was that they pulled up, walked towards the end of the street, and then they heard gunshots and then people took off running. Again, the National Guard service members stated that they both were being enticed by Tyron Johnson, and he turned around and pointed his gun directly at them. But again, the entire situation is still under investigation with very limited details being brought to the surface. Another bystander stated that just watching the mama get the news, that's definitely something they wouldn't want their own mama to get that information that their 20-year-old son had been shot shortly after the fireworks and the 4th of July festivities, and that the very next morning, just before 4 a.m., Mr. Johnson never returned home. I mean, I think it's really insane how the National Guard having more than 10,000 service members in Memphis alone, which was set to combat the rising rates of crime. Which, by the way, when I went and looked at the rising rates of crime, I know Memphis is definitely a shooter city. Let me just start there. However, there has not been a major impact enough to even need the National Guardsmen in Memphis, Tennessee. It feels like, since Memphis, Tennessee is historically right now a black city or an urban neighborhood, it's one of the Trump administration's muscle moves. Their aggressive assertion of authority over that city to try and get it under control or back under the control in fear of the government and everybody who works in the government because of the increased rates of crime coming directly out of Memphis, Tennessee. However, the National Guardmen having a presence in that city and to the point where it's leading to gunshots and someone's dying, that in itself just lets us know that this is not going the way that they anticipated the presence of the National Guardsmen being there, because they're now involved in the crime. And now there has to be a major investigation just to determine what led up to the shooting of Mr. Johnson. Again, there doesn't seem to be any bystanders that can corroborate that Tyron Johnson did indeed have a handgun and pointed it directly at them, leading to him dying. But I guess as more information comes out, we'll be providing you guys with some updates surrounding this story.
So when you see them marching, right, and they have their faces covered up, right, and then you see situations where the young man, the baby at Walmart, gets unalived by a police officer. Then you got situations where the National Guard is unaliving people. Then you got situation where the son of a judge, because those three white children, one of those children's father is a judge in this situation in Mississippi with this young boy on the boat, and he already is lawyered up. The fucking lawyer's in the house. The father's a judge. So when you see all of these situations and then other situations occurring, you got to ask yourself, are they all on code, right? When you see Peter Thiel has a whole organization and whatnot, this a secret society of billionaires and millionaires and whatnot, and they're coming together and they're having these lectures and whatnot to talk about all type of nefarious things, you begin to ask yourself, are these people on code and whatnot? Are these people systematically doing things and whatnot to incite? Because they're inciting. But what they also know is that they could destroy a people through what they call emotional warfare. They could destroy a people through spiritual warfare. They could destroy a people by killing their messiahs or their messianic ones and whatnot. You gotta remember, they could destroy. Our people are having breakdowns. Our peoples are in a health crisis and whatnot. When C-19 had hit, there was already people with pre-existing conditions. Those pre-existing conditions read off like a complete list of people who were going through years of stress, people who were going through Mike Brown, going through Philandro Castile, going through the Freddie Gray spell, going through the Trayvon Martin spell. What do they have? They had heart issues. They had cancer issues. They had quote unquote liver and lung issues. You understand? From drinking and shit like that, from escapism. There's an opiate crisis. Motherfuckers is just trying to be numb right now. They got them popping pills, 5 Perkies, jive turkeys. People are out here dying and whatnot, ODing and shit like that, just trying to escape. So escapism is big. Escapism is big right now. All type of vices and shit like that. People are falling into the vices because they want to get away from the pain. Okay? Because niggas ain't stepping. It's plain and simple. The people in Burkina Faso, they're not going through the same type of things that we're going through right now. They're going through somewhat of reverse. They've been through so much trauma for decades, like the people in the Congo and whatnot, going through all of that. They're going through somewhat of reverse because they're seeing somewhat of a light. They're seeing somewhat of a hope. They're seeing black men standing up. Yeah, they got shiesties on and whatnot, and they got AKs and big weapons and whatnot, but they know that them people ain't gonna shoot them. They know that's for defense. So when women begin to see things like that, they start lightening up. They like, shit, I want to procreate with that man. You know what I mean? I want to bring more babies in this world because look at these men. Look at these men. Look at these warriors. Look at these kings stepping up. So all of these crises give us some opportunity to shine, black man. There's nothing to run away from. We ain't running away from none of this smoke. This ain't nothing to cower. This is nothing to put our heads in the sand about. We got to come with a mother effing solution. We got to speak to this shit.
Clear up a few lies that I've been seeing circulating around this case. 20-year-old Tyron Johnson was shot in the chest twice by National Guardsmen after they chased him for shooting in the air on the 4th of July. Something that millions of Americans do across this country every single year on the 4th of July. Now, according to officials, they are saying that Tyron turned back with his gun in his hand towards the police. They did not say that he pointed it at them. They only said that he had the gun in his possession, which again, doesn't automatically mean you're a criminal. And again, he didn't shoot at anyone. He was shooting in the air. And when he turned around, the National Guard shot this man in his chest. No criminal record. He actually moved away from Memphis to Tennessee to get away from the crime that was in Memphis. He was a construction worker and he was taking college courses and he just became a new father. So what we're not going to do is we're not going to paint the narrative that this is some criminal that they were chasing down the street. Tyron was a good person and his family says that he was on the right track and they begged him not to come to Memphis to celebrate the 4th of July. Even though this child left Memphis to escape violence, the violence found him. But unfortunately, the violence came from his own country's soldiers.
So now they have National Guard patrolling the streets of Memphis. Interesting, right? And what they're going to do is they're going to utilize the dysfunction and the violence, right, that is perpetuating itself inside of these hoods or these killing fields where they're being encouraged by Pooh Shiesty, right? While they're being encouraged by the Pooh Shiesties of the world, the big 30s of the world, right? The Yo Gottis of the world, right? The black youngsters of the world. You feel me? They're gonna use they're gonna use that to do what? To justify shooting these babies down like dogs. Okay. Remember, they have a gripe against these children and whatnot, but the children are fighting back.
A group of motherfucking teens jumped on a goddamn police officer. Let me say it again. Y'all see this shit? Y'all ain't ready. Take that kid and drop him off at the police station. Don't have them police come to your motherfucking house because they're going to kick your motherfucking door down. They're going to kick your fucking door down. Take them kids, whoever kids them is, don't let them police find your motherfucking kids. Don't do it, baby. Go ahead and kick they motherfucker. You got to get the fuck out of here. You got to get the fuck. They gonna drop a bomb in this motherfucker. You beat on a goddamn police officer and it's on motherfucking video. Y'all ain't ready? And y'all talking about a goddamn song. You see this shit? Oh, somebody going to motherfucking jail. Y'all going to motherfucking... Oh, somebody's going to jail tonight.
So these children are not scared. Like, they may be out of control, but one thing they're not is they're not intimidated like that. They don't have the same fear that other generations might have had. Okay. They're not being steered in the right direction, right? They're you know, it's not being this is uncontrolled. It's like chaos magic and shit like that. I don't think that they have good role models, you know what I mean? But they are not afraid. And that's that, you know, shit. That speaks a lot. They're not turning their cheeks and whatnot. Okay. But they're gonna need men. They're gonna need some real warriors to help point them in a better direction. And I could point out some of the negatives, but I do want to point out some of the positives as well. Because there's been a display of Black Boy Joy all over the TV screens that we've been seeing over the past few weeks. And I will show that in a minute, right? But there's shit going on in the hood that needs to be addressed. We got to clean the hood up. You feel me? We got to clean the hood up before they clean before they start cleaning it up, you know? But yeah, there was a situation going down in Florida with a young woman. Her name is Bree. She's a social media star on IG, on TikTok and whatnot. She lost her life on the 4th.
There's a dark cloud hovering over Broward, man. And I'm praying that God will come and protect this county. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in Broward County. And don't get me wrong, bad stuff happening all the time in South Florida. But this particular past week, South Florida, Broward County be looking crazy lately, man. With the North Florida, that parking lot in Walmart to the Lauderdale, ready getting Los Olas and drive-by, man. And what they did to that girl, that TikToker, man, just a damn shame, man. Truly a tragedy, dog. I ain't know her personally, but I had a lot of friends I knew her very, very well. And seeing them on Instagram or TikTok posting up, saying RIPs, crying, grieving, is just not an easy sight to look at, fam. Could have been avoided. It's not fair. Rest in peace to that girl, man. Truly a damn shame. God is coming soon. We enter a new week. Everything that happened this past week, all I do is pray that this new week will be filled with blessings, dog. Safety, protection. Because you never know when your time will come, fam. When your time do come, where you gonna go? Please, guys, pray, read your Bible, go to church.
All right. So I want to introduce you, ladies and gentlemen, to a brother who has an event coming up in Brooklyn, of all places, Brooklyn, Vietnam. Okay. We have a men's gathering that's going to be taking place because, like I said, I could go on for days and talk about all of the things that are going on, right? I could go on for days, which I will not do that, right? But what I will do is I will bring some solutions to the table. So if you're in New York City, right, or the tri-state area, and you are a man, right, I need you to lock in, okay? I need you to lock in, and we're gonna talk about what we got going on. And let me bring to this table, let me bring to the thing our good brother. Peace.
Peace, brother. Peace, family. Peace and greetings. How's everyone doing?
All is well. How are you?
Oh, man, just outstanding. You know, I'm just honored to be here to take part in the conversation and inject some not only solutions, but shed some light on what's been going on, because too many of us are walking around as if nothing's happening around here.
Right. Indeed. I mean, that statement that you just said, so many people are walking around as if nothing is happening. Can we unpack that? Right? Can we unpack how Black men absorb trauma and they absorb depression, and they don't necessarily let their feelings out on their sleeves and whatnot, and they kind of like walk around with a mask on, no pun intended, and they keep this smile on their face, or they try to act like they got everything under control, but deep down inside they're falling apart? Can we speak to as to why do men do this?
Let me begin with saying that, you know, as Black men, or men of color, because that's really what we are, you know, we're not weak. No man is weak. What we are exhausted, and we're under pressure, and we're over pressured, and we're expected to do things without showing any emotions. This is where the problem comes in. So this silent crisis that we have is where men are walking around with this grief inside and nowhere to let it out. There's pressure, there's money pressures, relationships, racism, loneliness, all sorts of things that are coming up, and we have no outlet to let it out. we're told to suck it up, to man up and hold it inside and be strong.
Right.
But the fact is, brother, that um, men are more likely to suicide, 4 times more than women are. And these statistics are just through the roof. Since the early 2000s, men of color have ended their lives, and it has increased 144%, bro.
Right. We say
One
we
of
say
Mhm.
melanated over here. We don't use men of color. We look at that as a colorable term. We don't really identify as that. We do say melanated men. No, you know what I
Thank
mean?
you. Thank you. Thank you. And I
Yes.
appreciate that because I do want to use the proper terminology, because the fact is that if me and you were in ancient Kemet right now, we would have to use different words in order for people to understand us. So
Right.
here we are in this circle here. We are men, melanated men. We have that inside of us in our DNA that comes with all sorts of baggage. So
Right.
currently inside of our societies now, melanated men are walking around with all of these pressures with nothing else to do with it but to bottle it up. What
Right.
do? We turn to liquor, we turn to pornography, and we also turn to promiscuous behavior,
Right.
carrying on multiple relationships and things of that nature. But I will tell you this. These are one of the things that we're providing here, and I hope that many others are attempting to do this, is create a safe space for men to speak up and say these things out. We need to let them out. Just speaking them alone brings us back our power. You see? So we
Yes.
create these safe spaces where men can come in, and it's not a military camp. It's not where men you have to do this, and these are the 5 steps, and swear by this, and no, this is it's about you. It's you honoring yourself to be a better man, to be a better husband, to be a better father. So here we have, brother, men who are at home raising children, right? Because unlike this society like to tell us that melanated men leave the home. No, there's many men at home raising these children.
So
The
many men.
the downside is that they are emotionally absent. You see?
Mm.
Just like myself, my old man left when I was 9, but he probably checked out emotionally years before that, bro.
Right.
He
Let's
was just
speak about
there.
that.
Yes, he was here. He was just there, sort of trying to hold the family structure together, with one hand tied behind his
Right. Behind his
back.
back. Right.
You see,
Do you
so
blame him? When I don't mean to get into
no,
your childhood and everything,
I
but I
appreciate
do
that.
want I would love to know, how do you look at your father, who you have come to the conclusion that he may be emotionally have checked out, that he was emotionally absent, and he was trying to hold it together for obviously for the sake of the family and whatnot.
This
What
is
does a man do in a situation like that where he may be dying inside, or he may be numb? He may be numb within his heart, right? And sometimes that could lead to a stroke or heart attack or the organs failing and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? And he's a provider, but he's not appreciated anymore. There's no love in the home. There's nobody to nourish him or nurture him or give him any type of the type of love and care that he might have been used to earlier in the relationship.
this is
Should a man stay, or do you agree with him leaving?
Thank you so much. And I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm so passionate about some of these things, and I'll tell you why. It took me a long time to try to do my best to unravel lots of these things, because people who we look up to are usually the guy on the corner, that was selling drugs, or the business owner that was selling us liquor or things of that nature. But when I started to dissect some of these things, when you tell me, well, how did I look at him in that way? And I started to realize that this goes back many, many, many generations, you see, because the people who were overseeing us and controlling us in a violent way was told not to speak out or to speak up or to stand up for that matter. They were told to just pay attention to what is told to you and do it. So when you have children, you see, Brother Red, that's what happens. When you have children, you don't teach them those things to
Yes.
stand up. You don't teach them the culture. You don't teach them anything about the true religion or the creator or any of the things out of safety. What you do is you start to teach them things that the people who are in charge has taught you for safety reasons, because if you didn't, you would see your kin strung up in the middle of the village, not somewhere in the back, no, where everyone can see, you see. So once you start realizing that, you start to forgive them and have compassion for someone that is human just like you. They're not God. We see them as God. In fact, as you're being raised, they let you know, hey, if you keep acting like that, I'll take you out because I'm the one who brought you here, right? So it kind of
Right.
solidifies that fact. But as you start to see, that's not the case. They're just human, just like us. And when we're coming up to, we start to absorb all of the pain that they have too. They start to just, inadvertently give us that energy that we're carrying around and that tension, right?
Right.
So this is what I normally tell brothers. When I ask them, when was the last time that you went out with a group of men and hunted an animal for meat and brought it back to the village, cut it up and handed out and ate it with the village? No hands go up. You see, because this society has taken that away from us. So here we are with this vented up energy, right? Where do we release it? They tell us to bottle it up, because once we start speaking up and leading, we're chauvinistic, we're sexist, we think,
Well, I could interject.
go right ahead.
Men do go out and fish together. They're fishing. There are groups of men that I see fishing all of the time.
Mhm,
I'm in the South. They do hunt out here. That's
mhm.
are you're on the East Coast, correct?
Correct.
Right. So in the South, the brothers are out here hunting feral pigs. They go and shoot. You know what I'm saying? One of my best stress relievers is going to the gun range. It feels so good. You know what I mean? Just letting off the weaponry. Bows and arrows, throwing axes and whatnot. So there is some camaraderie that I've seen a little more out here than I would say in like New York and New Jersey and whatnot, only because of the
Exactly.
environment. We can't go out and shoot. You feel me? And we can't
Right.
go fishing in the Hudson River, even though they used to do it when I was a child. But yeah,
Exactly. There's some of those things that do go on, but I'm here from the East Coast. I am tri-state,
yes.
Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, Staten Island, and the surrounding areas. Here, there is very little game
You ever
to
play
go out
handball?
all the time, man. I'm from
Okay.
Brooklyn. Yeah, what's up?
So Riverside Drive, right? In the 80s,
Mhm,
we used to live around there. And my dad, right, him and his partner Basea, they
mhm,
used to do the handball thing.
mhm,
And they would take us to the handball court, and there were a bunch of men, black men, Hispanic men,
mhm,
Russians, Jewish
mhm,
men,
mhm,
and Irish men. And that was their thing, handball, all the way to the sunset. And then when we would turn
mhm,
around, we go to West Fourth, and then there was men in there balling and whatnot to the sunset, dunking on each other, 3-point. Then we would go to Rutgers, and they was doing the ball, they was basketball playing. And then we would go to the Bronx, and they was playing stickball and baseball and whatnot. So
mhm,
I feel where we bring and then there's football in the fall and everything. So we do sports
mhm,
more so on
mhm,
us on the East Coast side, and they may do their level of sport down south might be the hunting, fishing, shooting, archery, and things of that nature. But I
mhm,
think that we bond over the
mhm,
sports.
mhm. There's definitely a bonding thing that takes place, but I'm looking at things as you go farther back. We were hunter gatherers, and the women were the ones who gathered, and the men who hunted. And when you're out on a hunt, you don't speak. You can't speak because the thing that you're hunting, something out there is hunting you too, and you just might end up lunch. You see.
That's a
So,
fact.
but when we come back to the village with the meat, you see, that's where we this is a hunt that you've caught and you're able to produce something to your family, you see, because fishing, I guess you could bring a few fish home and those type of things, but you understand what I'm saying, like you bring that back to your family, and then once you're back at the village, that's when we sat around the fire and we received the counsel of men. You see, it was our ancestors right there, the elders. Where are the
Yes.
elders today? That are where's the fire that we sit around? They've removed that from our society. We not only go out and hunt and earn something, they're asking us to trade 8 hours, 12, 16, 18 hours a day, and
Right.
then come home to nothing, to spend maybe an hour or two with your kid. With that, you're supposed to cook, clean, educate them, give them wisdom and knowledge,
Yeah.
entertain them, and then go back out there and do it again for
Can I share
5
some
days,
with you?
6, 7 days. Please,
Right.
brother.
So I was in Puerto Rico, January, right? And in Puerto Rico, I was able to reconnect with the land, and I was able to see people living off of the land, right? Then I went into Colombia. So it reminded me of what we were doing in the South, like you were saying, before we traded. Remember the Great Migration? We went from the land that we owned, that we cultivated, that we were farmers. We had we were green thumbs, and then we went into the city, right? So now we went to the supermarkets to get our food, right? And what we would gather, they say that it takes a village to raise a child. There's no village in the city. There's a village though in the village. Like when you're in the country, that is a village. That is you know what I mean? Puerto Rico, I saw villages and whatnot. But when we traded the village for that city life, what do we lose in that trade-off, right? Individualism became the order of the day. Individualism can't survive in the village. Individualism can't survive in the quote unquote country and whatnot, where we are on farmland and whatnot. So my mentality is when black men are able to produce through produce, then we're able to reproduce, right? Because you could provide now. You provide the food, you provide the shelter. Men are building things with their hands. They got log cabins and things of that nature, shelter. So they're providing the shelter, they're providing the food. So when a man could produce, then the woman will want to reproduce with that man. Henceforth, why the baby boom was real big in Detroit, when our men were earning at the quote unquote we were on the what they call assembly lines and whatnot. There was a baby boom. There was a baby boom after the war because the men came back and they were producing, and they were they had their bread right. They were producing. There was a boom, right? You had Granny with the 30 children down south and whatnot. People might frown upon that these days because we're living in this post Gloria Steinem world, but it was be fruitful and multiply, because the man could provide. The man these children, the children were part of the village, and he was producing, so he was being reproduced, right? A lot of that went away when we in the city. What have you done lately? What can you do for me? I just saw an article that says to raise one child is $300,000 now. 300,000 for just one. So yeah.
Yeah, it seems that the economic constraints these days is the new segregation, you see, because that's in my opinion. Because when you step into some of these neighborhoods, they're beautiful. Or you can hang out there, but once it gets dark, you got to go. And if you want to live there, you have to have the money to live in these beautiful, pristine places. But then you notice that some of the high end jobs or positions that they're paying top dollars, they're giving them to our counterparts. And then how can we compete with that? As you could see, I have two kids, and I came from families where they had six or seven, and that was the small families.
Right.
Families were big in those days, man. Now
Huge.
can't afford it. Some people have one kid, that's it, bro. They don't want to have no more kids, and that seems to be where we're at. But you talk about being pushed into these cities. That's where they would like us to be, not in the village, not in the small towns. They want us to be in these high industrial places here for this digital age. But what is the cost? The cost is too high, brother. Broken families, depression, anxiety, addiction, violence, suicide. Children are growing up without emotional fathers being present. It's too high of a cost.
So women have this thing where they say men are not emotionally intelligent, and men are not just, like you said, they're emotionally absent and whatnot, right?
Mhm.
What would be a solution? Is there a solution to men magically just thawing out and finding an intelligence in their emotions by being a part of a men's group, like how they have sisterhood? So
Mhm.
can a
Mhm.
brotherhood circle help
Mhm.
men find their emotional quote unquote stance, or is that something that you would have to find on your own and whatnot? Is that just something that you would have to,
Mhm.
seek and find yourself?
I had a brother the other day. I was telling him some of the things we do because we've been doing this for I don't know, man, probably close to over 2 decades. And he was telling me, "Oh, that sounds nice to be in a support group." And I said, "You know what, brother? It's not that, bro. It's not a support group. It's not one of those things. It's not. If it was, I would say it is, but it's not that. What it
Right,
is more like a mirror. You see, it's about accountability. You see, the mirror is up and you get to see yourself, and you should be able to handle those things. And if you don't know how to, then you should receive the counsel of men who have the experience of going through those things. So, this seems to be one of the solutions where we have this safe platform, this format for us to be able to speak or to listen, just come in, taking the time. But for some reason, society seems to be ostracizing men who do that, calling them weak, or why don't you go get some therapy or something like that, or let's go out to the club, let's get lit or something like that, But we're not about that. We are here doing our part, brother. So who
right,
we are, brother, is we're the Omziel Healing Sanctuary. We're located in North Bergen, New Jersey. I'm from Brooklyn, but
right,
20 minutes outside of Manhattan, we're in North Bergen, New Jersey. We are providing our contribution to this society to help to provide that outlet for men. We're not saying we have all the solutions. There's many men's groups out there. I say let's all get together and try to strengthen one another, you know?
right,
And sometimes that doesn't happen in some of these groups. And unlike women, you come in and they work together right away. Oh, they holding hands and they're dancing in a circle. But sometimes men, I'm not saying all of them, but sometimes men, take this stance like I got the right way. So you got to be with my way, because if you not, then you're not on the right path. And I think they're way out and they're wrong in this area.
right. So share with the family what they have to look forward to on July the 11th at Nicholas, Brooklyn. Like, what is the modus operandi? What is that gonna look like?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I see you put that beautiful flyer up there. Lots of things that I don't always like it, but I mean,
Yeah,
this is the time that we're in, bro. So we are showing some images of the fire that's set there intentional because, you know, we're bringing the fire and we want men to bring theirs too. That way
right,
we can open up and we can share. And you ask me, what is it that they look forward to be experiencing? real conversation. There'll be keynote speakers, men who have some solutions, not all of them. Because what
Right.
we like to say here, brother, is that when you find the man that says that he has the shoe that fits every foot, stay away from that guy. Because every shoe does not fit everybody.
Right. There's no one solution for
There's
it
no
all.
one solution. No, there's
One
not.
size fits all.
Exactly. So what you'll experience is, some of these speakers providing some solutions that you might want to try on. This is a workshop as well as a community building for men. You see, this is a town hall meeting for men because there's a crisis happen. Because when crises happen, who do people call, brother? The men,
Right.
right? When they have a massive flood, tornado, earthquake, who do they call? The men. Yes, some women do get involved. We're not taking that from them, but it's the men who come in and help to solve some of these issues and build and rebuild also. So these are some of the things that you'll be expecting to experience. We did secure a food vendor as well, and he is an alkaline chef, and he's super popular, and he's top of the line. He believes in what we're doing, so he's there to provide some nourishment for us too, some alkaline food, because health is wealth.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, we don't want to do the men's circle and we knocking down ribs and fried chicken
Exactly.
right now.
Exactly. Yeah,
And
with
that's
the
not to
games
take
going
away
on in the
from
back.
anybody that indulges and whatnot. I'm not getting on
Mhm.
I'm just saying that in situations such as a healing circle, everything should be reflective of the healing. You know what I mean? Everything should be in alignment with said goal and whatnot. And what we put in our mouths is a reflection of what it is that
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
our self-love at
Mhm.
certain points.
Mhm. Our body,
um
our relationships, all of that.
for my
Mhm.
men out there, they want to be loving husbands. They want to be loving fathers. They want to be more empathetic and whatnot, right? They want to open up their heart chakras. They want to be more emotionally present. You feel me? The ones they
Mhm.
want to not be numb because some men don't even feel. It's not that they can't. It's just that it's not that they don't want to. It's just that they can't. They don't know where to draw it from. You feel me?
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
would
Mhm.
be your advice? Like, is there a regiment? Is there some steps that one can take? Is
Mhm.
there a way to open up the heart chakra and begin
Mhm.
to become more of an emotionally aware and a
Mhm.
more of an emotionally present person?
Let me please be transparent with you. It's all in the mind. Everything starts in your mind. Everything that you're speaking about. So I have a partner too. And, I go through struggles just like everybody else. People come in to see what we're doing because we're a husband and wife team and we get some wonderful feedback. Oh, you guys are a great couple. Oh, this must be beautiful and all that. And I'm like, listen, life is real and you have to deal with some real issues, you see. But the fact is that everything that I don't like about her, that I wish that she would change, doesn't bother her, you see?
Right.
Or else she would change it. Who does it bother? It bothers me because
Right.
I want her to change. So where do I start? I start with me. I have to start with myself, with my mindset. I have to get that right. Yes, there's some things that she does when you're with your partner. You're going to have to learn. You see, that's where you get the counsel of men. You get to learn from men who are experienced to accept some things and then change my behavior. You see, what if I don't like that she leaves dirty dishes in the sink? Then I wash them. You see what I'm saying? Maybe I don't like that she takes out the garbage. Then I take it out. Why? Because it bothers me. You see? So these are one of the things that we help men. We start with the mindset because once you can get that straight, then things fall in place. You remember the sign on the top of the temples before you walked in ancient Kemet? It said, "Know thyself."
Man,
See?
know thyself.
That's right. So exactly. Thank you. You see, it was almost as if they were saying, before you come in here asking for anything from the gods, you should know who you are first. Know thyself. So these are one of the things that we preach here also. Start with your mindset. Look into yourself internally on there. Yes, you need a little bit of guidance. That's true. That's where the elders come in. You see? So that's some of the things that, men can look forward to help to open up their heart chakra, to be more loving and more accepting. And there's all sorts of rituals too, because life is just a set of rituals that we do every day. And we help with that. We suggest. That's what I like to say. We're not telling nobody nothing around here. We're suggesting, some things like that.
Nah, I feel
Thank you,
you on
brother,
that.
for this opportunity, man. I
Of
really
course,
do. I
of
feel
course,
it too. Hmm.
of course. Let them know. Is there any
Hmm.
way that they could tap in with you, or just show up? Is that you know what I mean? Is there a fee?
Yes.
Is
Hmm.
there
Hmm.
anything that they should bring to this experience? What
First,
it? Yeah.
I did want to say thank you so much for yourself, brother, and all of the people and brothers that are on, providing some little details. I'm reading some of them there. One brother says get a dishwasher. Yeah, that's what's up, man. I can dig that. I could dig that, man. But those are band-aids, right? We need real solutions here, ones that last. We need that strong foundation. Look at all those buildings that they're building in all the tri-state area. You don't see them. These buildings are going up like they're putting them together
Like
with bubble gum and
clockwork.
spit. You know what I'm saying? But if you
Hmm.
notice, they take their time with the foundation. You see, they take their time with that. The rest goes up very easily, but you have to get the foundation straight. So on July the 11th at 6 p.m., from 6 to 10 in Nicholas, Brooklyn, which is an institution, has been around for more than 50 years, black owned business. They have many workshops there. Some heavy hitters go there and have some wonderful things that are going there where people can take in medicine, medicine of the word, medicine of the actions in order for them to, prescribe it to themselves. So on January 11th, you can walk in. That's true. You can. But we do want to provide the best quality service to you. So we would love to prepare best beforehand. You can find on our website, it's OMZL, which is OMZIEL, OMZL Healing Sanctuary.com. And you can go to the events and you could pick up your ticket there. There's also an Eventbrite listing as well. And the energetic exchange is only 20 US dollars. You know what, brother? You can't even find a good meal in this city for $20 anymore. For real. I mean, I had a coffee and a little sandwich, man. It was like 22.50. What? Oh man. So definitely you can find us there. There's going to be keynote speakers and brothers that are going to share. Perhaps you have something to say. Maybe you're listening to this and you go, man, I got all that at lockdown. Then why don't you come and support other brothers that need you as well? Hold
Right.
space. When it's time to speak, when it's open mic, when it's time to stand up, rise and speak. you know I envision men running to that spot and go, hey, wait, I have something to say, no matter what it is, whether it's pain, whether it's agitation, or it's love, or it's healing, or solutions, or advice, or history, something like that. So
No
real
doubt,
men
for
with
sure.
real healing.
No doubt. I really appreciate that you are doing this for men, for the brothers, for the brotherhood. I will spread the word and I will let people on my in my social media know about what's going on, because I feel like at the end of the day, this may be one of the most important topics that we're facing right now.
Mhm.
I remember being in New York about 2 years ago, and I was appalled at the state of mental health that I was seeing. You know, I was taken aback. I was on a train, I was moving through Harlem and I was seeing things that I was not supposed to see.
Mm.
And I was being confronted by energies that, you know, I never got confronted by. Just being on a train, like, you know, literally, you know, being faced with the possibility, yo, I might go to jail tonight because you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? They
Mhm.
on that other card acting crazy. If they
Mhm.
come up in here, you know, I'm gonna act crazy too. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a deterioration. You know what I mean? It fell real bad. It's changed a bit. It's elevated a bit. The frequency has risen a bit, you know. So I do know that is I'm somewhat on an upward mobility. This is a very opportune time in New York City while the vibrations are somewhat high to pull some of the black men out of the sunken place and throw you know, throw a lifesaver to help some people that may be drowning. So yeah, I'm very
Mm.
proactive in spreading the word and whatnot. And I definitely want to thank you. And do you plan on doing this in any other cities over the course of the next few months?
Thank you for asking that, brother. You know, you mentioned something very powerful earlier. You said about the this is a very tough topic or something to that effect. This topic is so powerful, brother, that people generally don't want to even deal with it. They don't even want to get brothers together for something, for some real talk, bro. They just it's too difficult. It's too complex. You know,
Yeah.
there's too much baggage, there's too much history behind here, and there's too much pain. We're talking about generational pain. We're not talking about just I'm upset because I don't have a job. No, these things are passed down to us. So if you
Right.
ask me,
Epigenetics.
epigenetics, thank you. It's there in our cell, in our DNA. So when you ask me if we're doing this in other cities, man, lovely. I would love to do that in other places. And we are formulating something where men can gather on certain days in time. That way they can, utilize the tools that are there that we have found, you know.
Yes.
So
It
we're here
can.
in Nicholas. We're here at
Right.
Nicholas, Brooklyn. This is a very top tier subject to speak on. Other brothers are coming in. We're gonna see how this one goes. I listen. I gotta be straight with you, brother. I was getting some pushback from some of the ladies, how they're talking about like, well, why can't we be there? Why can't we be in it or something like that? And this is what I say: there are some things that men they just won't say in front of women. They're just not going to. No matter
Right.
how pretty you put it and all that, they don't want to seem weak or vulnerable in front of other women. No, they're not going to do that. You see, but I envision, brother, us having future gatherings and meetings with women where we could sit across from them and speak to them, where they could speak to us. Hey, this is what I'm looking for in a man, and why am I not seeing those things? Or I love what men do and this other thing, and then we can respond accordingly too,
Right.
so
Yeah. I promote meeting the brothers when they heal, you know. I
mm-hmm.
promote that. I
Okay.
promote. Can you leave your information? Because I know that there's some people in the audience who would love to reach out to you and
Mhm.
connect with you and offer you some of the venues that they have available. And I definitely have I have some venues in New York that I want to share
Mhm.
with you as well. So
Mhm.
you know, we could get this ball rolling and whatnot because um I want to help save some of my brothers, man.
For sure. I feel strongly about that myself. So strong that we do have the Omziel Healing Sanctuary.com website. We have a YouTube channel where we also have a podcast called The Art of Rising Evolve. And we do different things here. One of our staples seems to be the breath work with an ice plunge. It's cold exposure. There's tons of benefits there. You could always come and book a private session, but we also have group sessions. We've had them at Nicholas before, and it's super powerful. And one of the reasons is because you can gain all the knowledge. You could tattoo scriptures on your skin and all kinds of things, but if you don't put these things into practice, it doesn't mean anything. You see? So I appreciate brothers like you helping to spread the word. That way we can come together and build and support one another, you know?
For
So,
sure.
you can definitely
Uh,
find me. My cell phone number, please text because we get all kind of marketing stuff. But if that's proper, brother, can I leave my
yeah,
cell
I
phone
put it
number?
in the chat.
Perfectly. 347-465-4954. As you
465-4954.
347 four
Yeah,
six five 4954.
got you.
It's a New York number because I'm from Brooklyn.
Got you, my brother.
Yeah, for
All
sure, for
right.
sure.
So I want to say
Mhm.
thank you for pulling up and thank you for doing what you're doing. We'll have a follow up. All right. We'll let the family
Mhm.
know how everything went. We definitely will follow up and give everybody some updates as to what's going on, what happened at Nicholas, and also what else is going to be happening over the course of this summer. I don't want this to be a one and done. You know what I mean? The potential here is very strong, and I'll also connect you with a brotherhood group out of Atlanta, brothers that get
Mm,
together every Tuesday and whatnot, and they've been
mm,
going strong. So we could all share resources, information,
mhm,
speakers, you know what I mean, and also have
mhm,
an outlet. Let's just say brothers from Atlanta coming to New York, they
mhm,
know that they have a circle that they could tap into, you know what I
mm.
mean, in case they need somewhere to learn or teach.
For sure. We do short-term rentals here too at the Omzia Healing Sanctuary. So in the interim of events, we rent the space out for anyone who'd like to come through, but
Dope.
especially people who are on the same vibration that are willing to provide and help brothers. Oh, listen, we take care of you. We give, we
So,
give, we give you
what
that.
at you don't mind me asking, at the healing center,
Mhm.
um, what is at the healing center? What do you have
we
available?
we have two locations at this spot right here. We have one space that has we have a two-bedroom. That's really what it is. It's a large space. There's two restrooms. There's a kitchen. So that's where we have these very big events. Then we have a spot in the attic also, which is a one-bedroom. It comes with a kitchenette and things of that nature. So let's say somebody was coming in from Atlanta, which many have. I have one brother come from Savannah, Georgia. He come in and support the men's groups and the other events that we have, and he stays right here with us, man. So
Dope,
that's what we have. And then I live here too. I have, my wife and my two children, man. My kids get
dope.
to see everything that I'm doing. You see, because they're like sponges. They're looking at every little single thing that I'm doing, the way I speak and walk, talk, everything. I have to live a righteous life. They're watching me, everything. You
Now
see,
that's
I'm
important.
I, I'm not
That's
binge
yeah. They
watching
all
television. I'm not binge watching
right,
television or hanging out with the lady cannabis, all day. No, none of that, bro. No, no. I'm out there living it. I live this life. I'm not just talking about it. I live it.
right.
So I'm here,
Very
brother. I'm
important.
here. I'm
All right, my
present.
brother. I want to say thank you.
hmm
All right,
Thank you.
and
Thank you. Thank
peace.
you. Thank you and
No
peace, brother.
doubt.
Peace to everyone
All
out there.
right,
Peace.
peace. Yes, indeed, y'all. You already, like I said, we're gonna bring the solutions to you. You feel me? We're gonna give you some insight as to what's going on out there. Let me light up this timeline real quick. This is Black Boy Joy that I was talking about. Check this out.
Want to know my favorite thing about Lamine Yamal? And it has nothing to do with his play. That's the craziest part. It's his little brother. And let me tell you why. Lamine has it all. He's a teenager. He got the youth. He's 17, 18 years old, playing for the biggest club in the world, Barcelona, and now playing at the World Cup. And it's his face Spain is promoting. All Adidas is promoting. All the marketing is going towards. He's the star of Spain at 18 years old. Like I said, the kids love him. He's cool, he's hip, he dresses well, he has personality, he likes to dance. He's also a handsome kid, that always helps. And his play style is just beautiful to watch. He's a wizard with the ball on his feet. But that all pales in comparison to his little brother. I love their relationship. He said after a post-match interview, that's like his son to him. And you can see it in the way he nurtures him, carries him, is always looking for him, whether he's celebrating on the pitch with him or even in the crowd. But the reason I really love it is because I know Spain and Barcelona have never seen nothing like this. You're telling me this dark-skinned baby, this little baby, is running around moving like it's his stadium. He runs it. And he do, because they cannot dare even say a pimp to his little brother. They can't dare even risk annoying Lamine. So I just really get to love that his beautiful dark-skinned mother, his beautiful dark-skinned baby boy, get to walk around a continent, a country that doesn't really always embrace dark people like they own it. I know they're used to it now, but I know when it first happened, when Lamine first came in, before they knew Lamine was going to be the next Messi, I know they were like, yo, it was a mind fuck seeing this little baby just running around, this black ass baby rock running around. And I love it. I love it. Shout out to Lamine Yamal, shout out to Mommy Yamal, and shout out to Keen, man. You the best baby on the internet right now. I ain't gonna lie. You the biggest star of the World Cup. If y'all too scared to say it, I'm gonna say it every time. Why Talk Sports? Hello.
Here's the thing. We are absolutely honor bound to protect this child at all costs. Now, I want you to tell me the exact way to pronounce his name. Is it Kane? I want to make sure I respect the little man and Lamine's family by pronouncing his name correctly. So let me know how to say it correctly. I think when I looked it up, somebody said it's Kane. But this child, no matter where he goes, we need to make sure that we all protect him. Don't let any of the nonsense get in there and affect this child. And for me, it's not just because he's this cute little kid. Yes, he is absolutely adorable. But for me, it is the relationship that we're seeing between Lamine and his little brother. You can't fake this. There is nothing ingenuine that you see here because the child cannot fake this. Unlike when you put a politician out there with kids to show them that they're kind of just human, and the kids absolutely hate them. Even like their own kids hate their own parent. There's an example of that just popped into your head. Put it down in the comments. Let me know. But this relationship between Lamine and his brother, this is the best thing that is coming out of this 2026 World Cup.
Yeah, man. The Moors is in Spain, man. The Negritos. The Moors in Spain. That's all I see. You know what I mean? I see the symbolism. But that Black Boy Joy right there, you know what I'm talking about? The fact that they act like our children are men. The boys are men in the eyes of the colonizer and whatnot. You feel me? They don't see us as children. You know, the children is running around talking about brrr and all of this other. Well, now we have the innocent young child. You know what I mean? He's in the shadow of a champion brother. You know, his brother is the next Messi. His brother is an anomaly. I don't know if y'all ever seen him play, but he's him. He's Himothy, you know? So salute to the young God. You know what I'm talking about? Let us play a few more clips, then we up out of here. Remember, we were talking about everybody turning into Christianity, and I was like, that's the thing. Like, how does everybody become Christian all of a sudden when they be out there doing crazy shit? This sister right here broke it down. Let's listen to her.
Kat Von D effect. There's people that I know of.
So in this video, they're talking about a pattern that happens when people are into practicing magic, the occult, maybe new age spirituality, just the ability to manipulate energy. And then at some point, something flips inside of them and they go into becoming a devout Christian and like pledging their life to Jesus. And I have a theory on why this happens. I believe that this happens because if you are on a walk of learning to manipulate energy, to create with your energy, to practice magic or studying the occult, at some point during that walk, you are going to go through a spiritual initiation that involves you facing demonic energy and spiritual and psychic attacks. This is a spiritual initiation that will bring you to your absolute knees And if you don't know how to transmute energy, then you will feel powerless. And I believe that that's what happens in these situations. These people feel powerless. And so what do? They turn to religion, which is a system that is set up to take your power from you, essentially. It is just a system that is set up to say, here, give us your power because we're more powerful than you, and we'll just tell you everything that you need to do. I'm also speaking from experience here because I went through one of these spiritual initiations, and there were a couple of different times where I was like, do I need to pledge my life to Jesus? Because I kept seeing these videos about people who had done exactly that. And I was like, am I at that stage? Is this what I'm seeing? But no, that wasn't the case. I just needed to complete my initiation. And once you complete your initiation, you are no longer afraid of demonic energy. You are no longer afraid of spiritual or psychic attack because you know how to transmute energy. So you know how to make that energy work for you. And you know that everything that is quote unquote demonic is just mirroring the fear that you have inside of yourself. So really, that point, that turning point is where you're called into the deepest level of shadow work, and some people can handle it and some people can't.
Any black or brown person who's the only one that looks like you in your friend group, this video is for you. I'm not making this video because I want you to live in fear. I'm not saying this because I want people separated or divided from each other. I'm saying this because a lot of people have learned this lesson after they already got hurt. So please be careful. And before anybody twists what I'm saying, no, I'm not telling you to stop making friends with people who don't look like you. Some of the best people you'll ever meet do not share your skin color. This is not about race deciding someone's character. This is about never ignoring someone's character because you're trying so hard to believe they respect yours. If you're the only black or brown person in the room, please pay attention. Not to what people say when everybody's getting along. Pay attention to what happens the first time race comes up. Pay attention to who gets uncomfortable, who changes the subject, who laughs, who stays quiet, who speaks up. Who suddenly wants to play devil's advocate? Who gets defensive? Who gets dismissive? Who tells you you're taking it too seriously? Who asks you to prove your own experience? Because that's when people stop performing and start showing you who they really are. A lot of people will tell you, I don't see color. That sounds nice, right? And maybe they mean well. But if someone can't see your color, they usually aren't seeing everything that has come with it either. They aren't seeing the history. They aren't seeing the stereotypes. They aren't seeing the assumptions you've had to carry. They don't see the pain or the trauma. They aren't seeing the things you had to learn just to move through the world a little safer. Don't let anybody convince you that asking for respect is asking for too much. It's not. You deserve friends who respect your culture, your history, your family, your name, your traditions, the struggles your community has carried, the victories your community fought for. And they shouldn't just accept those things. They should care enough to learn, to respect them, to cherish them, to nurture them, to protect them. And people love saying, oh, it was just a joke. But really ask yourself something. Why is the joke always your skin color? Why is the joke always your name, your hair, your culture, your pain, your trauma, your history, your family, your ancestry, your community? Why are you always expected to laugh first so everybody else can feel better about it? At some point, it stops being humor. It becomes permission. Because every joke that gets excused teaches people what the group is willing to tolerate, especially if you're the only one. Every silence teaches people what's acceptable. Every time somebody says, oh, that's just how they are, what they're really saying is, we've already decided that your dignity is way less important than confronting our friend. And that's the thing, man. Real friendship has a cost. If standing up for you is too uncomfortable for somebody, then your dignity was never worth much to them in the first place. And those aren't your friends. Every harmless comment about your hair, your skin tone, your food, or your family's background is a micro test. They are testing the waters to how much disrespect you will swallow before you finally react. If you swallow it to keep the peace, they're only going to get bolder and more comfortable. And it's going to give them a chance to weaponize your anger. Because the moment you finally do decide you've had enough and you call out the disrespect, the entire group dynamic will instantly shift. You will immediately be cast as the caricature they've secretly harbored in their minds, the angry black person, or the hypersensitive, aggressive minority. The conversation will instantly pivot from what they did to how poorly you reacted. They will gaslight you into believing that you're the one who ruined the vibe. But they don't want to evaluate the disrespect they did to cause you to react that way in the first place.
Remember that water cooler talk we be having? You know what I'm talking about? That code switching talk we was having? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, sure. I heard USA got the shit beat out of them. Check it out.
It's not bad. Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved. And if I'm part of that corruption, I defend it. Hello, he bad like cook crack. I'm the rest of the world, I'm fucking pissed. But as somebody that's part of the United States, I'm ecstatic. But if we're really breaking this down, this does not set a good precedent because what the fuck is our president doing calling up the FIFA guy saying, hey man, you gotta look that shit over again when he don't know nothing about fucking soccer?
So I saw the play, and I'm a person that loves sports and was a good athlete, and I understand sports really well. And that wasn't a foul. That wasn't even an infraction. That was two guys running full speed that happened to crash into each other.
Yeah, that shit was definitely a foul, though. The thing is, it may not have been a red card. I feel like a lot of people were like, man, that just seems a little drastic. But you have to let them figure that shit out. You calling them up is a bad look for us and everybody else that's a part of FIFA. Because now this shit looks corrupt as fuck.
This referee who is a little bit suspect. If you check his past, I don't want to say that because I don't like to create controversy.
Start controversy, but you call the ref suspect and act like that he was out to get us? Hello, bitch, that's controversy.
Didn't do anything wrong, and he's our best player or one of our best players. A very vital player, and he gave him a red card. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't think it meant much. Then I started hearing that means he can't play in the next game, at least. In the next game.
Within 1 minute, you have already self-admittedly said, yeah, actually, I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. I didn't even know red cards work that way. You guys sit out the next game? Yeah, bitch, since ever. And after all this knowledge that you don't know, you're like, you know what? Let me get on the phone, make this call. Yeah, we need our best guy back. And it fucking worked. I mean, as a U.S., thank God. But at the same time, the rest of the world's like, what the fuck is going on?
You penalize somebody for the game. But how do you penalize them for a game that hasn't been played yet? It's very unfair. You can't do that. So, yes, I asked for a review by FIFA.
See, Trump scene, that's exactly how this shit has always gone down.
On behalf of all Americans, thank you for getting rid of that ridiculous red card. This is his... That was interesting.
Head on his knees, Cruz, doing his usual dick eating, but even Trump scene was like, all right, well, time and place, dickhead, shut the fuck up, let's move on. Flags was always there, though, because as soon as I seen Howard Nutlick with the FIFA president, I was like, this man is in the fucking files. He brought his kids to a pedophile island. His kids. You just sitting there with him in a cut like Neosporin, like everything copacetic? That's not a good look. Full organization has already made a statement. We are expressed such disbelief at such an unprecedented, incomprehensible, and unjustifiable decision. The whole world is pissed at us. Like, we always gotta do something to fuck it up. And now, without even knowing, most likely, you've set a new precedent where if I'm king of England, I'm me. Hello? Yeah. I'm gonna need that shit back. What are you talking about? Red card for who? Yeah, nah. He slid, he hit the ball first. Fuck that. This World Cup has been fucking electric. Like, 2 goals back to back within like 15 minutes and Mexico slowly climbing back. Seeing them 2 goals back to back. Now, obviously, it was probably somebody in the crowd, but in my head, I'm like, oh, man, Cartel was like, hey, point the laser. Just let this nigga know we will snipe him right now if he keeps fucking around. Yeah, Majin Holland fucking moving, grooving, vibing, sliding down the pitch. 2 goals by his damn self, taking Norway into new heights. And it's like, oh, shit, this motherfucker's really different. He moving like a Viking. God damn. You already have other teams speaking out like, man, that shit was a big mistake. We've never seen somebody overturn a fucking red card. And now all of a sudden, because we're in the U.S., President Trump makes a call, you overturning that shit? And then Belgium obviously immediately responded, was like, no, we appealing that appeal. Fuck is happening? Only real defense is they didn't call nothing on this. And that's just because it's messy. For whatever reason, he's able to just get away with everything. Like, he didn't even get a yellow. Boy got a red, where it's like, that shit ain't adding up. Regardless, we have 2 elite games that are about to take place. Portugal versus Spain. Will Ronaldo end his World Cup career right here and Yamal take over? Or will we have a switch? And then we have USA versus Belgium, which obviously there's going to be a lot of controversy surrounding this game.
Corruption is not bad. Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved.
Yes.
But if I'm part of that corruption, I'll defend it.
Last 24 hours, China has been conducting long-range ballistic missile operations and testing outside of the doors of our allies, Japan and Taiwan and South Korea. And I was on Santana's live. Bless you, Santana, I love you. And Santana was like, yeah, it's because of Taiwan. It's actually because of Sinai Takachi. It has to do with the fact that Japan a couple of months ago decided to threaten China and say, if you decide to do any provocation to Taiwan, we're going to take that as an act of war. Some of y'all may be like, why the fuck would Japan and China get into it? Because Japan invaded China in 1931 and stayed there until 1945, almost killing almost millions of people. In the Nanjing massacre alone in September of 1937, they took out 320 lives. 320,000. Then Japan bitch ass decided to hop, skippity bop over to the Pacific, hit Pearl Harbor, then go further in nautical miles and invade the United States of America on soil in California, Washington, and Alaska, holding prisoners of war. That motherfucking country that is the size of Hawaii decided to invade the United States of America at the same time that they were invading China, at the same time they were fighting the motherfucking Soviets in the Kuril Islands. Ah, little shit. And you're probably like, that's not a concern, Chewbacca. Yes, the fuck it is, when the Russians are currently deploying Bear F planes over the motherfucking NATO operations that are taking place outside of Britain and Iceland. It was just yesterday that the UK and NATO were reporting that they are currently dealing with unusual activity from Russia because Russia decided to drive their planes low during a NATO operation. So China and Russia are pumping shit right now in front of the West. And nobody's gonna do a damn thing about it. Rest in peace, Khamenei. He currently was buried yesterday, and they currently had a month-long funeral service actually for him. For anybody and everybody that missed it, over 1 million people showed up. Nobody from the West was invited. All the earthquakes that hit in the last 24 hours, a majority of the big ones hit in the mountains. You're gonna have to tell me how many fault lines are sitting in the motherfucking mountains. Pay attention to that motherfucking typhoon that's taking place in Guam. We got about 5,000 troops there. Yeah. If they fuck up our military shit and everything else in between, you're gonna be shit out of luck. If you are born in America, according to the Supreme Court, you are an American. Period. The North Koreans fixed their destroyer ship that wasn't working last year and decided to test it yesterday. Something that we haven't seen before. North Korea, China, Russia, Iran. The United States of America is lying to you dead into your face. I got the newspaper yesterday, and it said that 12,000 people in Afghanistan, 12,000 women, have business licenses. The United States of America taught you that the Taliban don't allow the women to work or anything else in between. It came in a newspaper. So look alive, I gotta track the military actions we're doing this week. Some shit seemed like it's about to pop off. They risk.
All right, family. I just wanted to end that with the melanated sister. You know what I'm talking about? But this conversation, as you know, was gonna continue. We're gonna have more convos on it. More than likely, I'll be pulling up to the situation that they got going on with the brotherhoods in New York City this strong end. So I'll give y'all some feedback on what that's looking like. You know what I mean? The brother did invite me to be a part of that. So that's definitely something I'll be interested in pulling up to. I'll let everybody know what's going on. We do have some big announcements that we're going to be making tomorrow about claws, the 72 claws in New York City. We do have a date. We do have a venue. So we will be making the big announcements tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. I look forward to seeing y'all in the building. Also, summer school officially starts on the 8th. All right. Summer school officially starts on the 8th. That right there is involved. That's a workshop that we have inside of our school community. Okay. And what we do is we build, we create, we make these websites, we make these apps. Shout out to everybody that's been using Fable. The deadline is at midnight. So, man, I hope you made it worth something. Man, with that being said, though, we are up out of here. Peace, love, and light to the family. Stay dangerous, and we will see you soon. One.
Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bumps we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept a storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields. And interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube. And fade to black, yeah, the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual, Clarence 13X, a worthy guess. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North Amex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson. The sorcerers from Corsica kilotonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers. Fabric softener, jive turkeys, popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch storage type. For that soft white, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like Porsche lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, the scorched type. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descended of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind, that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Best.
Crumb TV.